Shoplifting call at a Galleria area store ended with a deadly scene on one of Houston's busiest freeways.
Yeah, two women were killed overnight after police say they ran into traffic after the police chase.
A very tragic and unfortunate accident took place on July 24th on a highway in Houston, Texas. Two sisters, 15 and 16-year-old, were running across the highway after allegedly jumping out of a car that was being chased by police. When they jumped out of the vehicle, they both would be hit by another vehicle and tragically lose their lives. But the bigger question is, why were two teens on a big highway running across it? And why were the police chasing them? One mother's life has been completely turned upside down after she got the news that her two daughters, 16-year-old Mikayja Beck and 15-year-old Mikayah Beck, had lost their lives after a tragic incident when police were pursuing the vehicle that they were in. The girls were with their older cousin, 30-year-old Deandra Cook, alongside another 16-year-old, when the four of them allegedly were inside of the Old Navy near the Galleria shoplifting.
To some breaking news from overnight. Well, two women are dead and two more are in custody after police say a chase turned deadly.
Police say it started with a shoplifting call in the Galleria area before the crash near downtown around 9:15 last night.
According to HPD last night, there were some tense moments both during and after that police chase. Now, according to HPD, police say they received a call around 9 of shoplifting at this Old Navy in the Galleria. Now, officers say they received the description of the car and they eventually found the car. They say when they tried to pull them over, the driver took off, leading to a chase. Now, HPD says the suspects got on 59 before getting into a minor crash. That's when they say two of the four people got out and ran across the highway before being hit and killed. They say two other people in the car are now in custody.
Now, this is when the story gets deeper because Deandra was no stranger to shoplifting and had been getting in trouble for these types of crimes for many years. Now, to get a better understanding, we're going to have to go back to Davenport, Iowa. That is where Deandra is originally from, as well as 16-year-old Mikayja Beck and 15-year-old Mikayah Beck, who moved down here with their mom, Marcia Beck, a few years back from Davenport, Iowa. Now, for Deandra, she was no stranger to the justice system when it came to shoplifting. And as far back as to when she was 18 years old, she had been getting in trouble. In one case that took place in Illinois, it was reported that 3 local women faced theft charges after they allegedly stole from a donation box of toys meant for needy children. Police said the thefts were reported at 8:30 p.m. Sunday, December 7th, 2014 at a Walmart in Illinois. Investigators said they arrested the 3 women in connection with the alleged theft, and one of those women at the time was 18-year-old Deandra Cook. All 3 women were charged with felony theft, according to the police department. The court records also show that Deandra had a case pending in Scotts County in connection with an unrelated theft charge that was filed against her in early 2014. That in itself was disturbing enough, especially when you're not stealing from the actual Walmart, you're stealing from toys that were already bought for children in need. Sadly, it didn't appear that Deandra learned her lesson at 18, and now at the age of 30, she is definitely stole, probably for the last time. Making things harder to talk about, not only was Deandra committing a crime, she was committing a crime with young girls. And unfortunately, Deandra may have learned at a young age herself from the mother of the 2 girls who sadly lost their lives. Now, I bring it up to be honest, truthful, and transparent because we as Black people have to stop covering up when things go wrong because it's not helping the situation and it's just making more generational curses. Now, according to the mom of Mikayja, Mikayah, she would take to social media and speak her mind about what people were saying about her niece Deandra, and she would give a different account of what she believed took place. In her post, she wrote, "What y'all will not do is say a mother effing thing about my niece Deandra. Don't nobody know what the F happened. She is not at fault for nothing. I'm the mom. Yes, I allowed my kids to be with her. Y'all don't know why she ran from the police. And it could have been something else, not stealing, because nobody was charged with theft. She went to jail for getting out running. The girls seen her run and they followed. It's all messed up, but there is nobody to blame. My kids will be home with a beautiful home going." However, their mother is allegedly known for committing some of the same acts that Deandra has committed. One loved one close to the family wrote, "Every time anybody gets into it with Marcia, which is the 15 and 16-year-old's mom, all y'all say is she steals. Last time I checked, stealing was a hustle, just like selling rugs or any other hustle." And then on another post, Marcia herself wrote, "I am so proud of myself. First place I never stole from is church. I know God is proud of my change." I know for some people, stealing seems to be harmless or stealing is not hurting someone. But if you get caught and you run from the police and they end up shooting, or tragically something like this where they hopped out the car and got hit by other vehicles, is a very tragic and sad situation. So not just the mother's post, actually took a look into some more information about her, and Marcia alongside Deandra have even had at least one case together inside of a Nike store in 2018. The report reads, on July 22, 2018, around the time the store was about to close, the asset protection manager reported to the area and observed 4 women frantically grabbing items off the rack and concealing them in their purse, and she could hear and see hangers falling to the ground. That manager approached the women and observed their purses were bulging. The women also had some items in their hand, which they threw to the ground. Then the women left the store, one after another in a line, setting off alarms on the door at the store. The manager was familiar with 2 of the women because they frequently came into the store, and another employee identified them as Mikayja Beck and Deandra Cook. When Marcia left the store, she threw a jacket at the manager's face and fled into the parking lot. That manager followed, and she observed all 4 of the women get into the same car and leave. And this is being read from an official court document. And this incident took place when they were still back in Iowa. Now, beyond the Nike store incident with the mom and Deandra, and beyond the Walmart incident with Deandra and other people, there was also another incident that was publicly reported on back in Davenport, Iowa. And that was many years ago when Marcia was 25, where she, alongside 2 others, had gotten arrested after stealing over $1,000 worth of merchandise out of the Buckle store inside of the Kennedy Mall. The women fled that mall, and about an hour later, they were caught and taken to jail. So, for many, many years now, for over a decade, it appears that stealing has become a habit. And sadly, it looks as though that habit may have been taught to Mikayja and Milkiyah Beck, who were too young to understand the consequences because it is something they grew up seeing and knowing, and no one ever got hurt. I'm sure the moment they stepped out of that car, they thought that they would get away. They thought they would make it home. And it was obvious their minds weren't in the right place to just dart out in front of traffic. And quiet as kept, who knows? They may have gotten away multiple times from stealing things before. And for them, this time was supposed to be no different. But sadly, it ended in the worst way possible. It's clear from their mother's social media. She wanted them to have the best in life, and she didn't want none of her 6 kids wanting for nothing. And she was doing what she had to do by any means necessary, and that is something she has said before on her social media. But truly, at what cost? I understand no one wants their kid to lack for anything, but sometimes we as adults have to make better decisions because our children are watching. Just because we think it's okay for us to do doesn't mean that our children should do it, especially when it comes to breaking the law, because unfortunately, you never know how choosing the wrong thing to do can end up. Just because things worked out for you don't mean that things will work out the same way for the next person.
As they approached the 45 interchange, the suspect vehicle was involved in a minor accident with another vehicle. At that point, that vehicle stopped, and all 4 female occupants of the suspect vehicle got out and ran across the freeway westbound. They made it all across northbound lanes of the freeway. As they started crossing the southbound lanes, 2 of the occupants were struck by oncoming traffic, and unfortunately, females were pronounced deceased at the scene.
HPD's pursuit policy states that if the risk of injury outweighs the need to immediately apprehend the suspect, the pursuit should stop, and that officers shall not engage in a motor vehicle pursuit if the suspect is accused of only Class C offenses, traffic warrants, and non-violent misdemeanor warrants.
Did this rise to the level that a pursuit was warranted?
Yes, from the facts of what I've known.
I spoke to retired HPD Captain Dr. Greg Freeman, who says even though it's unclear what was allegedly stolen from the Old Navy and what the total value was, the suspects drove away from police.
At the end of the day, they're evading, and that could be considered a felony offense, felony evading. And they're posing a risk to the public by doing what they were doing, by evading arrest.
These two young girls losing their lives the way that they did naturally have had many people feeling a certain way online, and they were definitely not holding back about how they felt. One person said, if they weren't involved, then why did they run? I would have been a deer in headlights and confused. Another person wrote, don't steal and run from the police. Another person wrote, I'm just hurt for the girls' parents. My deepest condolences to them. As to the 30-year-old woman, what the hell are you doing with these babies stealing? Parents, please pay attention to your children's surrounding. Another person said, let this be a lesson to these parents. Start raising your children with morals, respect, and value, that they may make better choices in life. 16 years old is old enough to know better. So sad this happened due to their bad choices. Car crash, and they made a choice to run. Committing crimes do not pay. If they didn't participate in the actual shoplifting, why did they run? It's always as innocent as it looks. Do better, parents. One of their loved ones would go on to say, I just want to wake up from this nightmare. This is crazy. This is our new normal. Like I don't know where to start, how to feel, how to go on. Them girls was our life, our babies, our headaches. I know my sister does the most, and she says the most to people, but she didn't deserve this type of pain. Because if you know her, you know she has a kind heart and she loves her people. So my heart hurts so bad for her. But I swear we're going to get through this next couple of days the best we can. And then their mom also made a post, and she stated, so we all know these were my girls that were unalive. But are y'all understanding that these were my oldest kids, my only girls, my headaches, my helps, my riders? I don't think y'all feel me. I'm effing empty, crushed, lost, and ready to leave Earth. But then my boys would be alone. Y'all say don't question God, but I need to know what happened. I didn't deserve this. Why did he not take me and leave them? I'd rather them be here than me. F this life. I've been through too much for this to happen to me. Y'all, I am pissed off because there's no way in life I'm finna go on and be normal without them. As for the girls, Mikayja and Milkiyah, they were said to be full of life, love, and endless potential. They brought so much joy to their loved ones' lives, and their absence will be leaving a void that can never be filled. No parent should ever have to endure the pain of losing a child, let alone two. And their family is truly struggling to find the strength to navigate this unimaginable loss. So, I just want to make it clear, everything about this situation is very sad, and my heart truly goes out to the mom and the family. But some points needed to be brought up so we can take a look at ourselves and see what we need to change as parents. Because you never know what you could be doing could be something hurtful for your child. I do not think their mother ever saw this happening. And unfortunately, it's a very tragic situation. And my heart really goes out to her in this time. I just pray that everyone can learn from this and handle situations accordingly going forward. Please don't forget to let me know your thoughts and what you think about this situation. Also, don't forget to hit that like button and share to make your people aware. And as always, remember to stay woke. Things change quickly.